All right, hey guys, how's it going? It's Kire here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And in today's video, I wanted to pull some shards. We're pulling shards. Also, I did Faction Wars 18 to 20 for High Elf. It's super tough. I have actually really good characters for High Elf, so I want to break down my gear choices, what I did to be able to 3-star those events. And then also, before we begin, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the bell button. This is what happens every time you hit the bell button. Boom, right there. That's what happens. So be sure to hit that bell button. Let's get into it. Okay, so while we're pulling shards, this deal came up. It's actually a pretty good deal, just all things being considered. But be sure you pull the shards during a 2x event, not these 10x events. So get baited into these 10x events. But, you know, content creator, dopamine, screw it, let's go for martyr. That's thought process when, you know, you're not being efficient. So here we go. We pulled all the shards, or we got them all ready to go. And here we go. We're going to see some pretty sick pulls here. So rare. It's pretty much just an epic fail. Exactly why you want to save these. 2x events are going to be significantly better. You know, everyone has their own luck. People, you know, pull 100 shards during a 2x and they're all complaining they didn't get anything. Also, people could, you know, pull legendary here. You know, it's just the nature of RNG. Just be smart, save your shards. I really don't think these 10x events are worth it. I do want to say though, at least these 10x events are getting better, where it's not just like a random Jireg. I hope that they keep doing something like this, like where they do faction specific ones. Maybe they're starting to see that people just don't ever pull shards during one character 10x events. So at least if there's a silver lining here, at least maybe the 10x events will be better, even though they're not ideal, especially. But what I hope that doesn't mean though is that they're going to be reining back in 2x events. It seems like they used to be kind of predictable on how often 2x events are, but they seem to be significantly not significantly, but they seem to be a little harder to predict. I should say, like they're getting a little bit more sparse, which is a bummer. Okay, so you see the epic fail, all garbage pulls. But let's get into the faction wars. I was actually pretty stoked to be able to do 18 to 20. All the matches really long, so I'm gonna just first thing what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get through the characters I use, the gear I chose, and then I'm gonna 2x speed all the matches just because they take so long to do. But I hopefully they'll be helpful when you guys get to this point. You can use this maybe as a frame of reference to see what you're in for. And so with that, let's get into it. Here's the team I used to get to 20. And so to 3-star everything except 21. I just ran out of keys. I want to say I could beat 21, but I won't know until next week. But the team I ended up using, or the team that I was stuck on 18 with, was Double Arbiter, Tyrell, and 2 Royal Guards. It just didn't have enough control in the team, so I didn't have enough CC. So pretty much the only CC I had was Tyrell, and he's just a single target stun or turn meter reduction. I had some turn meter reduction with the Royal Guards, but on 18 there's a lot of force characters like Soul Drinker, and it just was too tough to control them enough. Whereas I was looking through the high elves, and the one that I ended up settling on was Battle Sage. It's kind of weird to like specifically make a character 6-star her, get her ready to go just for faction wars. But I've been actually kind of interested in doing faction wars, and I was like, screw it. She answers a lot of the questions that I needed to be able to beat that stage. First, so the big thing is I wanted a character that could CC, and whether it's built into their own kit, I can just put stun set or a day set on them. And I ended up going with her because she has a lot of cool things for faction wars. She has a speed aura, so I really like that, because pretty much when you get to the higher end versions of faction wars, they do so much damage that it doesn't matter how tanky you are and stuff, unless you're doing like double really big shield sets. You're gonna want to CC them, and debuffs are gonna be significantly better than buffs for you if you try to do like a Valkyrie and put shields on. It's not as ideal because you want to go fast, but then you're going to be buffing, so you're going to be outspeeding your buff, and they hit really hard. The buff might not even be good enough. So like that's why CC, in my opinion, is significantly better. Than once you do it, you don't have to worry about outspeeding them and going multiple turns on them. You just CC them and just try to hit the ones that didn't get CC'd. You know, attack downs would be great. I didn't have an AoE attack down, but so what she has an A1. She has an A1 that is AoE, which is great for what I'm trying to do. But then she has a couple other cool things that are really good in faction wars, where her A2 is removes debuffs and then increased attack, which I have Double Arbiter. I'm always going to have increased attack, but it's kind of nice. And then lastly, she has a revive on death. So not only do I have 2 arbiters, I have her to where in case one of the arbiters might die, or like I can throw that on, get the arbiter back up and res the team. And that actually happened. That soul drinker I was talking about in Sage 18 was really annoying. So being able to either cleanse it, or what I did is when the bombs were on, I just threw the Mother's Embrace onto Arbiter. She dies, comes back to life, and then everyone else dies. Then Arbiter just reses everyone. So 2 ways around it. But so she gave multiple options. So she has CC, so she brings CC. She's bringing another res. She's bringing a cleanse, and she's void. So really cool character. I just put her in like my fastest, tanky, and then also my fastest days gear, and then. And I actually had to book her too because the 6 turn cooldown would just be way too long. 4 turn cooldown would be pretty big bummer for this as well. But she came up pretty clutch. I didn't even like finish her out. I just left her at 40. Like I just tried it. I was like, see if I could do it. I ended up being able to do it without having to ascend second arbiter, without having to send her. But I feel like the character choice, and I don't know if I said this, but I ended up replacing one of the Royal Guards for Battle Sage, and that helped a lot. And it made it to where I can actually survive. And, as you'll see in the match ups, it really came up clutch. And then I'll kind of let me quickly go over the gear of the other ones. Arbiter's just in my arena speed, like just pure speed set. Masteries are for when I was trying her in Clan Boss. Ideally, I like the masteries for Faction Wars of this Arbiter a lot more. And I wanted to go over those. The big thing I really liked about this is since people are dying, we got the increased speed for dead allies. We also have the Cycler of Revenge in the defense tree, which is 50% chance of increasing turn meter by 15% when an ally is attacked with a critical hit. So that's really good. And then we also got Timely Intervention, which increases this champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally hero drops below 25%. So your whole team's going to be borderline dying if the enemy team gets to go. So it's going to always constantly boost the turn meter of Arbiter, who's already going really fast. So she gets 1 billion turns. And then it would be nice to. So I did a very similar setup on the Battle Sage as well. So they're constantly going because they're my CC and the people that are healing. So they need to be going incredibly quickly. Then I made sure just to have Tayrell. I left him in my probably there's more efficient masteries you could do for specifically Faction Wars, but I didn't want to change his gear. I'd probably do like some kind of tanky thing, maybe something like Bulwark or there's a lot of options. I haven't really thought about it too much, but he was fine in an offense support setup, and then a standard attack set for offense set for Royal Guard. But ideally, I would have, if I wanted to waste the gems, I would have changed arbiters to the other arbiters masteries as well to help out with both of them getting more turn meter. And so with that, let's see if there's anything else. Gear wise, I pretty much, the only one that had a very specific gear, it's pretty much just all speed gear. He's in life still because it's my clan boss. But it's just all damage and speed is for gear. That's it. Like some broken sets but that's about it. Let me see. This is my better one. Yeah, and then just crit damage, 100% crit rate, and I was good to go. All right, so let's get into the footage. Also, pro tip when you're recording videos, make sure you actually hit the record button. It's a good first step into making sure you get it all. This is take two. Take two, guys. Round 1. What I ended up doing is mainly I wanted to kill the Spirit Host on the right because of the block buffs debuff. And then pretty much everyone else is not a really risk. They're actually pretty squishy. Don't do that much damage. Just slowly picked them apart and made sure I had all my cooldowns going into round 2. Round 2 is actually an issue. So I'm going to skip over this and then go to round 2. So slowly pick them apart. So here at round 2, the main issue is this Soul Drinker here. The Soul Drinker, he has a really high damaging move that places bombs, and then also when he dies he places bombs, and the bombs, if you have an attack down debuff on them, you might be able to survive them, but they still do a ton of damage, and they straight up one shot my arbiters if they go unchecked. If you don't have an attack down, they actually go through. So having three different resers is really clutch. So I had a couple options on how to deal with it. With Battle Sage, added added that extra insurance to make this pretty consistent, which is be able to have the CC so I don't have to worry about everyone attacking me at once when the bombs are going off. Also, she has her A3, which has a revive on death. So when the bombs actually procced, I was able to just have that Arbiter immediately res herself, and then she reses the rest of the team. And then as you'll see later, the attack down, I believe there's an attack down debuff on him, but that's what saves me from Arbiter dying here. So he gets really close to dying, but he's the issue. All my I don't even think he had it. I think she just barely didn't die. Yeah, so I didn't see an attack down debuff. She just survived that. Having all these res is really clutch. Make sure you're going in with a plan to be able to deal with the Soul Drinker. If not, you're just going to get bodied on stage 18 round 2. But now that we got him down, we survived it. We have every member up. We can go into round 3. There is a Blood Gorge coming up in round 3. That's also going to be the big priority. So round 2 had Soul Drinker. Round 3 has this Blood Gorge. The reason why Blood Gorge is going to be an issue is because he on his A3 he has a block revives, a move that also ignores defense. So it's just going to one-shot one of your characters. Cool thing about the AI though is that he'll use his A2 first, which also puts all your cooldowns on cooldown. So it's still a pretty bad move to get hit by, but it's significantly better than just one-shotting a character and making him unresable. So you have a little bit of a leeway there. I was just playing around the days, slowly picking him apart. He dies. Luckily, that was not a weak hit. Slowly taking him down. Big thing is trying not to crit the Seeker. If you crit the Seeker, he's going to put defense on everyone to his passive. The stun from Nethral's kind of annoying, so it maybe take him or Allure out next is probably a good idea because they're squishy and they do a lot of damage. So it took him out, and then so ended that one. Now stage 18 is done. Made sure just slowly took it slow at the end there to make sure everyone was alive and got the 3-star. Round 1 of this encounter is very similar to round 1 of stage 18. It's just slowly pick them apart. The thing you got to worry about is the Skull Crusher though. So it's a little bit scarier than round 18 because of the Skull Crusher. Luckily the 2 people on the right, the damage dealers, are also weak to the damage dealers I happen to bring, which is Royal Guard and Tyrell. So I was able to kill them relatively quickly. But then once they're dealt with, also the Zergala is a little annoying. You gotta watch out for her too. What I ended up doing is once they had the counterattack on, I just kept hitting Skull Crusher over and over and just let them use their moves. I intentionally did moves for battle stage to avoid AoEing some of the time. Just slowly, it took it very slow. Wanted to also have the strategy of all your cooldowns up to go into the next round. So round 2 for this one, the one that I was scared of for sure is Seer. And I didn't get a chance to see exactly. Well, actually, there's a couple issues. There's Seer, and then there's the block or the reflect damage. And I ended up just going for it on the reflect damage because I wanted to kill the Seer as fast as possible because I was really scared that she was going to do a ton of damage because I have 5 buffs. They all have 5 to. Or they have, 2 buffs each. So it could have done a billion damage, could have just straight up nuked you. So I would definitely, I don't know, I can't verify it, but I'm just going to guess that she would have hit like a truck there. So luckily we got her killed before she did her move. And then I ended up going for the dog because reflect damage is really annoying. And then just slowly picked apart the rest. I went for the Grimskin because he actually hits really hard. Even though he's defense based, he hits hard. So I wanted to kill him when the opportunity came up. And then the other ones were kind of fine. I believe that they're not scary, but they are like off affinity. So it took a little longer than normal to kill them. But that was round 2. And then let's go to round 3. Round 3, if there's anything scary here. The thing that was scary here is just making sure there's not really any damage threat, but there's a threat of not being able to kill them and they just out sustain you. And it just becomes like an infinite loop because they have Steel Skull and they also have a Vrask. And so if you can't CC them, then they could just constantly, Steel Skull has his defense up and his with it, which has a heal. Plus he has a spot heal that cleanses buffs. And then Vrask, when he crits, he also heals everyone. So you just want to make sure you have enough CC or enough damage to be able to kill one. Because once you kill one, then the other one will fall significantly easier. And that was my main strategy. It's just seems like it's just making sure you target the right people, and then you're good. If you don't understand the kits, you're gonna be in for a bad time because you're not gonna know who to target. So if you are having trouble with the matchups, just try to just pull up all the characters, hit info, read all the characters, pull them up in the index, and then read their moves so you can get a better idea of what turn like a target order you should have. And like Faction Wars is not something many people talk about, so it's a lot of this is going to be on you. It's going to be on what characters you choose. So I'm just trying to do my best here and give at least some information. But Faction Wars is going to be something that's going to be a little tough to find concrete information on. Lastly, we got the thing that's scary. When I saw this, like the last, there's a blind seer, and I was like, oh no, that's even worse than a Vrask Steel Skull combo. So I was like, all right, let's see if we can do it. Let's give it a shot. Ended up not being too bad. It's just this is just the longest grind out of them all. The round one, these guys hit actually pretty hard, as you'll see. Like there's a lot of, it gets a little hairy, but they're also not very, they're not tanky, but like look how much damage they're doing. Like they hit like a truck. So keep that in mind. But also they fall pretty quick too compared to the other rounds. So just trying to do the same strategy as normal. Yeah, kill them while also making sure you have all your cooldowns for next round. I just play around my days. I would definitely play around your CC. If I haven't mentioned it, the reason why I picked days over stun is because there's a 7% increase, so it's 25% chance of placing a daze versus 18% for the stun. So in that 7% really comes up clutch because see like you'll see that all the time where I hit an AoE 25% chance on every single one of those 5 to hit, and it's still just none of them proc. So imagine the odds on an 18 versus a 25. It's just gonna be worse. Even though stun's just an objectively better buff or objectively better debuff. So this one, is there anything to note here? If anything, the Nizana's kind of annoying. She actually hits really hard and she is going to take a lot of the damage. I think this is one of the longest grinder rounds. Also, a lot of force characters. So just keep that in mind. There's a ton of force characters in High Elf Faction Wars, especially on the higher end. So just try to take, hopefully you have some good green characters so you don't get, or a lot of void so you don't get weak hits. Because like my damage dealers being blue, it's not doing me any favors. They get one shot, they weak hit all the time. So I'm just like and also the strategy with the double arbiter. If you're in that situation when you have 2 arbiters, I always try to make sure that one of them keeps. I don't ever use my speed up on cooldown constantly. I always want to keep it in combination with the res. I don't like to res without the speed up with it because it's the heal. So if you're just resing someone, you're not boosting their turn meter and healing them, they're just going to get killed again. So always save it. If you have your speed up on cooldown, or on a 2-turn cooldown, but you have the res, try not to use the res until your speed up is on a 1-turn cooldown at the least. Sometimes you just have to do it. So just keep that in mind. It makes a big difference on how you use your arbiter. And then this is just a slow grind. Let's skip this. This one's pretty much a wrap. It's just you can see how tanky they are. And then round 3, this one's a little scary. Another situation. So there's going to be the Infernal Baroness, Seeker, but the big one is going to be this Blind Seer. So she places the shields, and then also she could like sack herself to res everyone. So she absolutely needs to die first. And then Karam actually hits pretty hard as well. So just watch out for that. But as you'll see, I just try to go for as much damage as possible. See, everything gets resisted. She gets all her buffs up. And I just slowly just rinse and repeat. You just got to hope you have enough damage to be able to kill her before. That was just obvious misplay. Don't do that. But she was in like perfect position to just get stunned. Making sure if you can get them stunned, it's such a big deal with Tyrell. Always be looking for opportunities where they have less than 50% turn meter. We'll see how long it takes. I believe this encounter alone takes 5 minutes of like constantly manualing it. Okay, so we got the AoE. We got. Yeah, even though I got the sleep on her, I don't want her to live. I'm just screw it. I just got to kill her. I don't go for the AoE there because of the sleep on her. She was almost going to go, so I could just do it next turn, and it wastes the turn meter. It's kind of annoying that Rogard keeps dying, and then boom, she's gone. So right there, that's when I was like, okay, I got this. Now I just pick him apart. The reason why I don't target Seeker is because I don't. The only time he's going to place his passive defense up is if it's an AoE that happens to crit. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. She seemed to be pretty weak, so I kill her first. Then I go for, I believe, the other Infernal Baroness, and then I just slowly pick them apart. But it's pretty much over at this point. As long as you killed the Blind Seer, hopefully your comp allows you to be able to keep rezzing as much as mine can. I know mine's pretty extreme, but to give you an idea that I have pretty good gear on these guys, I have really good characters, and it's still hard. So just take Faction Wars, give it the respect it deserves. Make sure you have a good team. It's really annoying to me when people go like, oh, he's not a good character, but he's good in Faction Wars. Like that is some of the worst advice I've ever seen, because Faction Wars is harder than anything they're comparing it to. So you need to have a good character for Faction Wars, and not only a good character, but it needs to be a character that fits Faction Wars specifically. Like it needs to be a character like Battle Sage that has reasons that work in Faction Wars. So just keep that in mind. It absolutely drives me nuts when people say like just passively dismiss characters as good as Faction Wars. They're saying like, oh, good in Faction Wars 13, then cool. But no one wants to. Eventually, if you want to complete Faction Wars, you're going to need like 45 6-star characters. So they need to be good characters too. So don't waste your 6 stars if you're like, oh, it's okay in Faction Wars. But all right, into my rant. All right, guys. Well, that should do it for this video. Let me know what you think about this. Trying something new, trying something a little different. Let me know if you guys like it. Discord, Twitch, and a couple of videos for you to check out are up here. You guys have a good one. Peace.